Hey everybody, Jerry Brusso here. Today we are at Lake and Bay Boats up in Sebring, Florida, and we got my brand new 520R Ranger boat here, which has been almost completely rigged out, but we have a couple more things we got to do. And today we're going to be installing the fish lung. And some of you have heard of this and some of you have not, but it's a live well system which puts in a lot more oxygen per parts per million to help out the bass, both with being in the live well all day and being weighed in. And today we're going to put this all together, and we'll go bits and pieces and try and show you how it all installs, and then we'll get some on the water footage another day showing you what goes on. So we got Johnny Maxwell here. We'll do an interview with him. We got Mike Whitaker, the owner of Lake and Bay, and so stay tuned and let's see what we can do. Thanks everybody.
I'm Johnny Maxwell, and I'm the founding partner of O2 Air and Sea, and of course I have really good partners now that we've been in business for 8 years. I am an avid fisherman, have been since 1963 when I caught my first bass. Like most people, I started fishing club tournaments and worked my way up to fishing larger tournaments, and in the 80s and 90s I started seeing lakes that would crash and no one would really know why. And so as an engineer, I started studying the physiology of fish, and I found out that really I was catching fish in 90+ degree water in Alabama, and I was still putting ice in the live wells like everyone does and other chemicals and additives, but I just wasn't satisfied that that was sufficient. And so I started researching what's happening in that 90 degree water that would make a 6 or 8 pound bass bite, and it's oxygen. And so I started looking at ways to create oxygen or to concentrate oxygen. So I came up with the idea for something called fish lung. Well, I built one for my boat. It worked so good, so well, that I ended up filing several patents and bringing on my senior partners like Johnny Johnson, Everett Geis, Mark Owens. We started developing this at the grassroots organic level about 6 years ago in earnest, or 7, and so now we have multiple patents. The system can supersaturate a live well with nanobubble size oxygen bubbles, which are usable to fish. It can do that very quickly, very efficiently, less expensive or less costly on your battery, I should say, as a conventional live well, because it doesn't have to run all the time. And most of our pros that are using the system rarely run their live wells. They just fill them up with water. They put their bass in there because they're bass fishermen, of course, and the system does the rest because it supersaturates with nanobubble sized oxygen bubbles. But the magic in the whole thing is actually something called the unibody. In the unibody here, there are lots of ports and check valves and things that strips nitrogen out of air. It does it at a very, very high, very efficient level. So it makes it applicable not to just fishing, but to bait care. It makes it applicable to hydroponics for growing plants. It makes it applicable to wastewater treatment. And of course there's the medical side of it as well. But I am all about, and so are my partners, fishing first. We care about our future of the fisheries. We want the fisheries to be in as good a shape 100 years from now as they are now. The only way that's going to happen is we've got to quit killing our fish in the live wells. Even with the best care, even with the best chemicals, the best ice and all of that, you're seeing massive fish kills on some lakes, and it's because the fish are stressed. They need a lot of oxygen. People are using lighter line because the lakes that are clear, you have to use lighter line and you have to fight those fish in their stress. So they go in the live well and they need a lot of oxygen, just like an athlete that would put an oxygen mask on. So fish lung takes care of that for you. You turn it on, it automatically comes on, it automatically cycles off, and you can spend all your time fishing and just check on the fish every now and then. But so far we've had no issues. Matter of fact, we've had rave reviews from our pros that are using it and our amateurs alike, and that's why we put 8 years of our lives into developing it, so that it would make fishing easier and also make sure the fisheries are healthy for a long time. But I hope you get a chance to use a fish lung. It's about the same price as a 9 or 10 inch electronic fish finder. They're not as cheap as something you'd buy at the local pet store, but those units will not work. They will not super saturate in the nanobubble range. They just won't get it done. So don't be fooled into some of that stuff you hear. It takes a micro bubble and a nano bubble. If it's not that, you're wasting your time and money and you're killing fish. Then this will go, let's say for instance, if this has been a water separator, that lip we were talking about, Jerry.
But at 75, I can't justify it. Not with what I got.
Well, you're a young looking 75, I'll tell you that. I'll finish that up after I get this one in. We are catching here. If I was standing where you're at over there, Paul, it'd probably, we've done enough of it. It's going to be about 65, 66 decibels. Okay, let's look in here real quick. Look at that oxygen. That's what you want. What you don't see is probably 80% of those bubbles you don't see is nanobubbles. You want to look in here and see? Oh, yeah, y'all's waiting. Oh, yeah.
All right, everybody, so we're buttoning up here. We're at the end. You can see all the bubbles in there. What you don't see is the nano bubbles, which is the one the fish are really going to use. You can hear it doesn't sound any louder than the regular live well. You can see the stone there, what it's doing. Johnny's done the complete install and we're ready to go. And the next time you see a video, you will see that video out there on the water, and we'll put some fish in there, and they'll be spunky ready to go. So, Johnny, anything else to say?
Well, I appreciate Jerry letting us put a unit in such a fantastic boat, and I think he's going to save a lot of fish because of putting this in this live well, no doubt in my mind.
Okay, people, we'd like to thank Johnny and all of his crew, and what a great invention. I think he's going to make a big impact on this fishing and on the fish. This is a great resource. We got to protect it, and this is how we're doing it, one bubble at a time. And those nano bubbles are the secret. Look for future videos when we run this, and we're hoping to see you out on the water. Have a good one.